What's up, everyone? Thank you for checking out and supporting this episode of Raised a Geek. This week, we're diving into the explosive Invincible season 3 finale. We've had multiversal chaos, heartbreaking losses, and an all-out battle that pushed Mark to his breaking point. Did this season stick the landing? Where does this leave Mark and the rest of Earth's heroes? Let's break it down this week. I'm here with Tony and Don. How we doing, guys?
Chris, what is up today, my friend? And Tony, my other friend. Everything's okay this late April weekend, right? Isn't it
March.
April? March? Oh my God.
April Fool's is this week. Fooled you.
Ooh,
Get ready.
April.
The internet's going to be full of lies on Tuesday.
I was gonna
Yep.
say that's a day where you can't believe anything you read. I mean, you can, but just be careful because somebody always tries to sneak something stupid in there. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was April. I'm fast forwarding this year ahead more than I should. It's March. Okay. I'm good.
Okay.
Everything's good. How are you, gentlemen?
I'm doing good. Everything is good.
I know we more in the past than we do now, but like this used to be, we started this podcast as like a more of a superhero comic book thing, and we've kind of like me and Chris don't like those movies as much anymore, so we don't talk about it as much. But we do when stuff comes out like Deadpool, Wolverine. But just recently the Avengers Doomsday thing came. I don't know, Tony, did you see any of that? Like the reveals?
Yeah, I saw the reveal list of everyone
Okay.
who's scheduled to be in it, but I'm sure that's not it. I'm sure there's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be more because they left out a lot of people. I know people brought up like, where's Tom Holland? Where's Benedict Cumberbatch?
Right.
Where's whoever? Where's whoever?
The
Where's
lack of
Wanda?
Tom Holland broke people's brains.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And we all know, of course, he'll be in it. And I think there was like a tweet from uh Robert Downey Jr., who was like the last guy, tweeted at Marvel saying like, "Hey, this is great. That's a lot of names." And Marvel responded back like, "There's room for more." Blah, like saying there's going to be more announcements.
Hmm.
Anyway, we're not going to get too deep into it. I just wanted to put on record that I thought that was the dumbest way to announce a cast for a movie. It was just so drawn out, and they broke it down into like two at a time. Like they'd show one chair and another chair, and the video would stop, and then 10 minutes later, they'd put another video on X. Like, just show me the whole video. You're gonna do it anyway. Like, what is this? I don't
Well,
like
yeah.
this.
Then when after the 7 hour stream was over, then they're like, "Oh, here's the 90-second video showing off everybody," and you're like, you could have just done that. Dropped a 2 minute video that showed that. Why did you drag it out all day outside of the fact that they just wanted people to sit there? And I saw like there were people with like live stream videos and stuff that did it, and they like had a timer for 12 minutes, like so they could be like, "Hey, there's about to move it. They're about to give us another one." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I couldn't find the
It's a
energy to
chair.
care
It's a
about
chair
that."
with a
It was
name
a
on
chair
it.
with a name on it. At one
Man,
point, like Don just like flooded my text. He's like, "Here's one, two, three." He was like, "This is the last one they did." I was like, "Thanks, man." That helps.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that live. I just saw someone fucking tweet this picture of everyone who's going to be in it, and it had all of them,
Okay.
and I was like, oh, cool. And then the next day, I saw one of the chair shots where they showed them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know that's how they actually did it. I thought they just released it.
No, it was like 40 chairs, like two at a time or whatever. I don't know, or maybe 40. I don't know, but
It was
yeah,
stupid.
it was lame. I mean,
Yeah.
the coolest thing about it is just that it gave you some names that you didn't know about, like the Fox X-Men characters are
That
in there.
Yeah.
that was the biggest thing with the whole thing. And I mean, I feel like that was the only thing really worth talking about of that whole reveal because everyone else was expected. But then
Right.
when they got into like the Fox X-Men and you're like, wait, basically they're bringing back the entire Fox
A lot of
universe
them.
that I
Yeah.
thought we
Yeah.
said bye to in Deadpool Wolverine, and we're gonna bring
Mhm.
them all back and add Channing Tatum in there. And here we go again. Let's bring back Professor X to life for the fourth time or whatnot.
Yeah, how many times has
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart died in an X-Men movie? Like three
Right.
times at least
Yeah,
I know of for sure.
yeah, he's died three
Uh,
times.
And that's like, you know, we said they're going to release more, and it's like you'd assume it would be McAvoy instead of over Stewart, but I don't know. Also, James Marsden coming back, that's fun.
I'm here for
Mhm.
that, but
Yeah.
I
my,
don't.
my thing I have to believe is because Marvel, they've always said for a couple years they were gonna, when they said they were gonna do X-Men, they were like, we're gonna recast and start our own MCU version. So there's a new Wolverine, there'll be a new Cyclops, there'll be a new this and that and this. But now all these old actors' names are coming up. It has to be multiversal thing where it's like they're going into the Fox universe, so those characters are still there and they'll be here for the Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars movie, but they're not going to make an X-Men movie in 3 years with Patrick Stewart and Ian
No.
McKellen. They're just
No.
not.
No,
So,
because this movie was originally Kang's Dynasty,
Yeah.
right.
and that was all the multiverse crap. So this
Mhm.
movie still has that DNA built into it, I have to imagine.
Yeah.
But it obviously screams a lot more X-Men versus Avengers with
Right.
Doom and everything else than Doomsday. But whatever.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll care one day. It ain't today.
Not today. Today we talk Invincible.
Season 3, we finished it. It's been over for a month, but we talked about other things. Chris doesn't watch TV. My bad, y'all. Right before we started recording, they're like, it's been a month since I watched this. And I'm like, I watched it last week. I always forget Amazon's a thing. That's why I haven't finished The Boys or Fallout.
I was just about
Fallout's
to say.
great.
I've enjoyed every Fallout episode, but I never think about Amazon
saying
as a
that.
streaming service.
Go watch Fallout after this.
Isn't Dylan from Severance on Fallout? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he is. Well, because in the Severance podcast, Ben Stiller kept making jokes to the actor Zach Cherry, like, "Oh, you're gonna do this on your next episode of Fallout," and he's like, "Haha, yeah," or something.
Yes, maybe.
I'm not remembering him as like a featured character. Yeah, more of a main.
Maybe he's gonna be.
Oh,
in
you know
season-
what? Maybe he was one of the people in her hatch, her whatever they're called. Man, it's been a while since I watched that show now.
Yeah,
Vault.
He might have
just-
been down in one of the vaults.
Yeah, now that you're saying it, he might be one of those
Yeah.
characters. I
think
I
you're
could see
right.
him as a Vault character.
I think him and another guy might have been like vying for the same political position. I can't remember.
oh, they were going for like the mayor or something.
Something. There was a couple of like fun character actors that were like
Yeah.
didn't have a shot, but they were hanging up signs. I don't know if it was him or not.
But I'm
now
with
that
Chris.
kind of rings a bell.
I'm with Chris. Well, I liked that show, but I just like 4 episodes in, I just like moved on to other things.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't talked about a release date for season 2.
It'll be in years.
That's messed up.
It's always messed up. Takes years to make shows now for some reason. Stranger Things is finally going to end, and those kids have receding hairlines. What's her face started as like a 7-year-old. Now she's married.
Yeah, and like a
Billy
full-
Joe Brown, what's her name?
Millie Bobby.
Brown. Miley
She's
Bobby.
married?
Yeah, she just got married.
What?
Yeah. To some singer or something. I was watching something where they were making fun of. They were talking about kids' TV shows and how these kids, they need to do these shows faster because the Stranger Thing kids take a lesson from Stranger Things. And if you can't put these shows or film multiple seasons at one time while the kids are still young, it doesn't work anymore. I mean,
That's why they kicked the little boy off the Lost and
Yeah.
made him float away at sea because he was getting too old.
they were like, he's going to age too fast on us.
Walt?
Yeah.
What was funny was I watched that Lost documentary, and Walt, like when he originally got cast, he was already like 15. He just looked young. He was like 15 or 16 already, and they were like, he just looked really young, which is wild.
If you keep him on the show, he's like 18 years old, like, Dad, Michael, get over here.
But then in the next scene,
Listen,
they're like,
Mike,
we've been on this
I've
island
been
for
hanging
30
with the
days.
others.
I felt like they could have almost used the island and been like, hey, Walt is super aging for some reason,
True.
and kept
One of
him
the
on and done
mysteries.
more.
It's one of the mysteries.
One of the mysteries. Why is
M.
Walt
Night
getting...
Shyamalan wouldn't have been
so
able to make that movie that I never saw. Aren't they on an island where they're aging fast?
Oh, old?
Oh, old. I was confused. I was like thinking of a M. Night Shyamalan movie with Walt in it.
Me too. And Michael, and I was like, which one are you talking about?
Yeah.
Old.
I like old.
Like old.
I'm old.
We all felt the need to do it. All right, Invincible season 3. All right, quick catch up since apparently it's been a month for most people, and except for Chris. But season 3 of Invincible was an intense ride. And these last few episodes took things to a whole new level. As we said, we talked about the first 5, I want to say. So we're here to talk about these last couple ones. In these last couple episodes, we saw Earth under siege by an army of Invincibles. Rex making the ultimate sacrifice, and Mark being tested like never before, physically and morally. And just when things couldn't get any worse, Conquest arrives, proving that Mark is nowhere near ready for what's coming. These were solid 2 episodes. Now, I mean, we can do a quick Powerplex conversation. We did 3 episodes that we didn't talk about: Powerplex, Angstrom, and then Conquest. Were basically those 3 episodes. I don't have a lot here about the Powerplex episode. It was kind of a nice, fun little canned adventure of dealing with the Chicago fallout.
The most I remember about the Powerplex episode is one, obviously Aaron Paul being the voice and him just yelling the entire time. Like he never stopped yelling. It was like him at his most traumatized. Like they were like, dude, just yell all these lines, just scream in agony. And
He basically took the 1 episode of Breaking Bad where he did the now as a meme. You can't keep getting away with this.
right.
And he basically they said channel that version of
Jesse.
Yeah.
Channel that version to Jesse and just be him for 90 minutes. And that's what he did.
Yeah. That pops to mind. And then the whole other thing, it reminded me a lot of just like Batman's motivation in Batman Superman, like the Schneider shit, where it was just like, I'm mad at this superhero because when he was fighting and knocking shit over, everyone was dying. That's why Ben Affleck's Batman was mad at Henry Cavill.
Right.
So it was like the same exact thing. So I don't know which one of those came first. That Invincible comic could have been written first. Zack Snyder could have ripped off Invincible. Who knows whose idea that was? But it was like the same concept. But it works. Like
I'll
have to
tell
think-
you. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you have to think about when superheroes do that and wreck buildings and shit's falling and exploding. Like civilians are probably dying. They don't show that in the cute little cartoons in Marvel and DC, but like that's what would happen. Like there'd be collateral damage.
Yeah, I think the boys did a good job with that, where it was just kind of like, okay, what if this was real? How many people would actually be dying from certain things here and there? But Invincible takes it to another level. What I was going to mention earlier is the main thing I remember from Powerplex's episode or his origin episode was when he electrified his family to death and they showed the baby.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh no, this
Yeah.
makes me feel weird right now. Like,
They were all
I was just-
mummified.
dude, I was like, holy shit. Like, I knew
Charred
it was going to
corpse.
be bad and there was going to be something, but when that happened, I was like, oh no. That's a dead baby on TV right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't just have him look at it and go, no. It was just like, no, we're gonna make you look at these charred corpses.
Yeah, that was intense.
Mhm.
And you knew it was coming. You knew that dude was gonna fuck up. Powerplex.
Yeah, it's
Then we shifted over to Angstrom coming back from the dead from season 2 finale. Didn't really know. We kind of already knew with some like post credits that he was around, but we didn't know how. So this one we kind of learned how he was saved with his portal power and kind of got re-put back together, which was disgusting when his face was all like smashed to shit. He was like, and I was like, oh my God, I hope nobody walks in this room while I'm watching this. They'd be like, what is wrong with you?
they love smashing people's faces and like having their teeth all like out and their
They
face
sure do.
just. Seen it a bunch of times now with different people.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely don't shy away from what happens when a superhero punches you in the face. And we saw it a couple other times before we even hit the end of the season. So, but Angstrom was back and he had this new plan, master plan, whatever. I don't know if it was 100% new or if he was trying to do it before, but basically to get every version of Invincible from all the different dimensions and bringing them to our Earth or this Earth and unleash them on the world to make Invincible look bad.
Pretty much.
And we had a crazy episode of a whole shit ton of Nolans. I think there was like an Asian Nolan in there. Whole bunch
Was
of.
there?
I felt like there was because there was a whole like other thing where like there was a version of Nolan that was in space, fighting somebody, or someone dressed up like Omni-Man.
There's a bunch of Nolans. I
I
thought they were
thought
all.
so. Did I dream that?
Well, one of
Oh,
the
one of the uniforms or his costume looked more like
Oh.
Omni-Man.
one of the marks had a costume that resembled Omni-Man's
Yeah,
costume, I think.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. So he was
They're
basically Kid Omni-Man come to life.
they're basically all Omni-Mans. It was like 8 to 10. I don't remember the exact number. Omni-Mans at the end of the Powerplex episode. That was like the stinger that Angstrom had gone back and brought all these different marks from different
Gotcha.
dimensions, and they're all apparently evil. Like, is the mark on our Earth the only one who's good? Like, is every
For
other mark
now.
in every other dimension a just murdering psychopath Superman? Like, that's kind of what it seems like.
that's kind of what he was supposed to be, right?
I guess.
That was the plan.
Yeah, and if that was the plan with his dad, I mean, how many would have turned that down? Like depending on when he got his power. I mean, there's so many variables that go into how you end up. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so okay, that makes sense that it was a Mark dressed like Omni-Man then.
Yeah, they were all Invincible versions.
But yeah, we had them going around and basically destroying everybody. And there was that was just an hour long episode that was just chaos. That ultimately, I mean, the big thing that happened from that, which we kind of talk about, did happen and then stopped happening and now looked like it happened again, was that Rex died and seems to be dead for real this time.
No. Yeah.
I don't
You-
trust Invincible to fully ever kill any character off. I wouldn't be surprised if Rex from a different dimension showed up next season. But yeah, I think this Rex is probably dead. Unless who's Walter Goggins play?
Cecil,
Cecil.
Unless Cecil has DNA on file and they decide to build him into one of those robots like Cecil's sidekick or something.
like Donald.
Yeah, but he had a cool Rex had a cool exit, man. Like he finally started to earn the respect of the audience back, and he was turning a leaf, which is we talked about this the last time we podcasted about this season was stuff's going too smoothly.
Hmm.
We're starting to like Rex. He's starting to hang out with his girl, and something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
A
But
lot of bad happened.
yeah, his exit was super cool, man. He ran out of stuff to explode, except for his entire fucking skeleton. Ah!
But that
Yep.
was enough. That was enough to take out an Invincible. It takes a lot to take out one Invincible, so he
Right.
had to give his life to do that. Yeah, this episode was it was good. Like you said, kind of start to finish, nonstop action. It was basically those 8 to 10 Invincibles versus every superhero on Earth.
Yep.
That's pretty much what it would take to fight 10 different marks.
Yeah, and it
Um,
I mean, Rex died. Eve got messed up.
her
She had her
leg,
leg broken. She got
yeah,
all super injured and was in a coma basically by the end of this episode. Darkwing 2 took one of them into his dark place, his portal place, and the assumption is that he's dead.
He'll be back.
I'm sure. Once again, you didn't see him die. He just
Right.
poofed. Um, Everyone else got messed up. So I mean, there was definitely some hits in there for that episode. And then Mark finally got his hands on Angstrom and was basically getting ready to kill him, but then didn't want to. Oliver was there, so he was like, I don't want to set this example, but then felt like he should have by the end. Because didn't he tell Oliver that I will never not kill again or something?
that might have been at the end of the next episode, but like we did get to a place by the end of the season where Mark is like, if someone's threatening my family or someone I love, like I'm just gonna kill them. It's like I was trying to be the good guy and say, no, we don't kill, no, we're not like dad. Uh, but yeah, just like people just keep getting hurt on my watch and almost killed or killed. They're threatening my mom. They're threatening my brother. They want to kill my girlfriend. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna kill people. So it's like the start of his uh maybe downfall on that a little bit.
Yeah, now we know how every other Invincible from all the other dimensions got bad.
I s-
Can't save the world and be a good guy.
right?
One or
Cecil
the other
told him
goes.
that.
Right.
I was in our first conversation, I was like, I'm worried about everybody. I'm worried about Rex. I'm worried about Eve. I'm worried about Amber. I'm worried about the mom. In these two episodes, I was mostly worried about Oliver. It's like, don't hurt that boy. He he's
He's a
just
good boy.
he's a good boy. Don't hurt him. But like, it's like, man, if there's one thing that would set Mark off, like to the extreme, it would be if something really happened to the kid.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, luckily he had a couple close calls.
Oh God. Well,
Yeah,
after Angstrom got away, and then he kind of got put back together by what are they? The Inquisitors or
those engineers or whatever they want to call them, the three aliens who
Langston's
put him together.
cronies.
The what?
Langston's cronies.
Yeah.
yeah, the technicians.
Okay.
So he kind of got put back together and said he'll in exchange for getting his arm put back together and making him whole again, he'll help the technicians do something. So Angstrom will be back just like everyone comes back. But once this episode ended, it was insane because then Conquest showed up, a giant Voltramite that it sounded like he was voiced by what's his face? Negan, right?
It
It
was.
was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it sounded like him.
He's got three names. Thomas something. No, it's not
Michael
Thomas.
Clark Dunk. Nope. Nope.
You're so
Michael-
far off.
Michael
so far
Clark
off, yeah.
Duncan. Oh boy.
Michael Ian Cusack.
That's not even close.
I think that's Ben from Lost. I think I've been watching too much Lost.
It's Jeffrey Dean Morgan,
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
JDM.
There it is.
who's now been in like almost every comic book property you could think of. He was in Watchmen. Obviously, he was
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. He's been on The Boys.
The Boys. Yeah.
Now he's on Invincible. He was supposed to play Thomas Wayne in like
He did play
in,
Thomas
or
Wayne.
he was Thomas Wayne in one of the flashbacks. It's like they love putting you in these comic book properties.
He did that other movie, which was it was a little known, but I think it was called The Losers.
Yeah, he was in The
And
Losers.
that was
yeah.
a comic book movie.
That was a comic book. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, if there's a comic book, he's been in it.
I hope he's like a crazy super fan and he's like living out his best life of like all these
Right.
graphic novels and comics that he used to read.
Uh-huh.
It'd be awesome.
I hope so. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan was the voice of Conquest, and he came to basically take over Earth. Like he was coming for his checkup. Viltrumite sent me to check in on your status and how you're coming with conquering Earth, Mark. And Mark basically said, "Fuck you." And they fought for 40 minutes. Solid.
Yeah. That was
I
a
was gonna
long
say-
ass fight.
Conquest came at the end of the second to last episode. He dropped out of the sky when you thought everything was fine. Mark and everyone's cleaning everything up. Now all of a sudden, a new Viltrumite we've never seen before just floats down. And the end of the episode with them two like flying at each other, and literally the finale was probably an hour long, but it was 45 minutes of fight.
Yeah.
It just started and it was just they were just fighting for 45 minutes.
Which was insane.
I love the fight sequences in Invincible.
Mhm.
Love them. This was too long. It was too long for me.
It was
like,
intense though.
it's like, my God, it was. And it was good.
But it
But-
just kept going. And
Yeah.
then it was they broke it up because, Eve got her
Yeah.
section with Conquest. Oliver came and tried to a couple times to change that. Mark had a couple like boot and rallies
Yeah.
where he was kind of like, I'm mad now, and then it wouldn't go the way he wanted it to,
Yeah.
and then he would get his leg broken, and then he'd get his arm broken, and he had his other arm broken. At one point he had no hands, and you're just like, what is happening in this?
Did he stab him with an arm bone at one point?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah. It
They
was,
did
I
all
mean,
they
it
did
was
all
awesome.
kinds of shit. They did all kinds of shit to each other. Like Conquest fucked him up. This was like the Omni-Man fight from season 1, just like turned up. And that was hard to do because even that was crazy intense, that season 1 Omni-Man Mark fight, because Mark didn't really stand a chance in that one. And this one, at least, Mark kind of did because he's gotten better since then.
And I feel like Mark was holding back a little bit with his dad.
Yeah,
He wasn't quite as angry as he was this season, so
right. But yeah, no, that's true. But Conquest was doing stuff like that. It was like callbacks to what Omni-Man did, like holding Mark as a shield through people's bodies
Yeah,
and
just
like,
going through the
exploding
park.
People.
dude, that was
Uh,
messed up.
That was messed up. You saw people's blood, like exploded everything everywhere. Invincible fight scenes, I agree with Tony, is like just something to behold because people who grew up watching like Superman and stuff like that, like this is Superman level powered characters, but doing the stuff that was like this was what would happen if Superman was really fighting somebody. They
Yeah.
don't do it in DC. They don't show someone so bad and as strong as Superman, like so many people would be dying around them because of how powerful they are. But Invincible doesn't care. They're just like, this fight's gonna cost 100 human lives. Just
Not gonna-
like, and then it's like seeing that, it's like, holy shit. It's like this is what really would happen if there were two super powered beings fighting in the sky. Like a lot of us would die in the in the process.
Yeah.
Uh, so it was crazy, man.
Didn't he was gonna rip Oliver in half, right?
Yeah. One point he picked up Oliver and he was explaining what he was feeling as he was just like, come on, baby, rip for me. And I was like, oh my God, is he
Yeah,
gonna
and
rip this kid in half? And Oliver is just like, ah. I was like, oh my God. He
well,
was just like screaming, and I was just like, what is this? I just kept
well,
waiting for him to rip. Like I was like, this dude's about to be bathed in this child's blood.
that was like the first time when Mark got super pissed and like got
Yeah.
the upper hand because he was mad. The second time was when it looked like Eve died, which fucked me up because I thought she was gone, man. He like punched a hole through her and
He
punched her. He
yeah,
punched her face, or like her face exploded. And I was like, Eve's dead.
yeah, he
This
put his fist
sucks.
through her chest. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah,
Mark is gonna be broken. Like,
and he was.
and he was, yeah.
He was. Uh, yeah, man, that was brutal. The thing I was worried about when we did the first episode, I was like, I feel like something's gonna happen to Eve. That's when I thought it happened. I was like, well,
It just happened. And where do we go from here? Like, I don't know what Mark would
yeah,
have how where we would have gone if they actually went through with that. Now, clearly they didn't, and she was basically able to heal herself because she was close to death, so her was able to use the full scope of her powers
she
that
had like
she
her,
is
she had
kind of
like her
blocked from
phoenix.
her.
She was like
Yeah,
a factory default setting where if she's too jacked up, it just yeah.
Overrides.
Yeah.
that was like her Jean Grey Phoenix moment,
That's
you
a good
know,
way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
like rising from the ashes or whatever.
And that's when she, used her powers to basically melt off all of Conquest's skin. And then he was just a bag of muscle and he was still fighting. And I was like, he has no skin.
Yeah,
And then Mark headbutted him to death.
with two broken hands.
Two broken hands. So he was like, I have my face. Let me
Yeah,
just headbutt you like I'm a shoe bop bop. Buddy bop.
like I'm the shoe body doobop. You knew we were gonna work that in somewhere.
Yeah.
I just didn't know where. That was perfect.
Well, when Mark is headbutting Conquest, it works real well,
Yeah,
which was brutal.
Yeah, but
The whole thing was brutal. It was great.
here's my thing, and like I get it. It's a comic book show, but like everything that Conquest just did, and Cecil's like, yeah, we'll just keep him trapped in this titanium with just his head exposed. And it's like, all right. And what was his excuse? We're going to study him to see how it's going to help us take out the other Viltrumites or something.
I'm sure that's always Cecil's thing.
You
Yeah,
know?
he wants, I mean, use them, see if he can get information out of them, see, what they do. But yeah, we found out that Conquest is trapped in basically a giant block of titanium in a building that's set to explode with megatons of explosions underground or some shit if he even moves or something. So he feels that he's safe with Conquest and that Conquest isn't dead. He just had his face smashed in by Invincible's head.
So my
Yeah,
theory, I got a little theory of this because Conquest is going to come back because they let him a lot. They still have him.
for sure.
So I think the more unlikely thing is that um, Oliver, Kid Omni, is going to end up fighting him as kind of a revenge for almost him getting murdered and fucking him up so bad. And he's going to fight Colossus, takes the Viltrumite to beat a Viltrumite. Or what I think would be cool is that Colossus is like a force sport I enjoy fighting. That was his whole thing with Mark. He's like, come on, do a little more. Let's go. This is good. And that's like exactly who Battle Beast is, where he's always looking for the next challenge. So I think I'd be more excited to see Colossus come back and him and Battle Beast have a nice fight and see how that goes.
Conquest.
Yeah, did I say something wrong?
It's saying
Colossus?
Colossus.
Oh my God, it's the wrong company.
It's a C name. It's a C name.
And they showed us that Battle Beast was saved in space from when he ripped apart a Viltrumite during
Right.
the escape. I'm surprised that we didn't really see Nolan or Alan again. They escaped at the end of that episode from the Viltrumites. Basically, Nolan told Alan there's only like 50 Viltrumites left in the universe, and then we never got anything back from that, right?
I think you're right.
That was where they left it. I thought maybe they might get a little something in the finale, but they didn't. I th I don't know. I feel like the next step is them getting to Earth next season.
Hmm.
Finally, Alan and Nolan. It's gonna be a weird reunion with Mark, even though Mark, he has mixed feelings about him. They did run into each other last year, and Mark kind of worked through some of those feelings where he's like, "I hate you for what you did, but I still love you because you're my dad."
Mhm.
And we'll probably get the Nolan and Debbie reunion. I think like probably Nolan and Mark and Alan end up fighting together against if Conquest comes back or more Viltrumites come down. Uh,
Yeah, if Conquistador and the other Viltrumites get together, it's gonna be
uh-huh.
a
If Wile E.
that
Coyote and those
I'm an idiot. What do you want to wager that the reveal for Nolan being back is Oliver going, Dad, and then Mark being like, What? And turning around and seeing him. I'm calling it.
might happen.
I honestly thought that the whole thing with Conquest was gonna end with Omni-Man showing back up.
100%. Yeah. I thought he was
Mhm.
gonna need his help.
Yeah, I just thought he was gonna show up and fly through Conquest, and then Oliver be like, "Dad, I almost got ripped in half."
Oh.
I'm taller now. He stretched me.
He stretched me. I'm bigger. Uh, but yes, that was. I, I'm sure you're probably right. Some variation of that. Oliver will be excited to see him, and everyone else will be completely not knowing what to do, and Cecil will explode out of just fear.
This bitch is back.
No, I can't do this. Um, but as Donna, I think already mentioned, by the end of this season, Mark basically was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill anybody who messes with my family or anyone I love or just needs to be killed." He's taken this season and basically said, "Yeah, I'm cool with it now. I
Yeah,
get it."
it tore him up when he killed Angstrom the first time because that was like his first kill. But now he's just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. I know
Look
I'm
at
gonna
how
have
many
to.
people died because of what Angstrom did coming
Right.
back.
And Conquest, yeah. And he thinks he killed them both, which he hasn't killed either one of them.
No, he still
Right?
hasn't killed anybody.
Yeah.
He
Except
puts
for
himself through a lot of
all
stuff
those
and
civilians.
except for all those civilians. And then they even gave us some teases of the squid controlled humans in the
Yeah.
Mhm.
sewers coming back,
Yeah.
which those things are messed up. So the fact that those things are still crawling around taking people hostage is not cool. We got Battle Beast being
Is that
picked up by some other aliens and out of space, so we know Battle Beast is coming back. And then we had another tease of Darkblood, the demon detective, come into power and basically summoning the devil.
another person in Mark's rogues gallery?
Yeah. So there was everyone's coming back for next season.
Yeah.
The show's set to run for like fucking 15 seasons, the way they're setting it up.
Kirkman says he wants to do it for a long time.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
so
popular enough. Well, maybe not 15, but still. I think it's going to
yeah.
run for a while.
I
There were a
think
lot.
the show honestly I think lost some steam by taking so long to get to season two.
Yeah.
If they could have made season two faster, I think it would be bigger than it is now. It's big with us and like big with fans, but just season one I remember like captured the
Yeah.
national attention for a while because it was so like, whoa, what is this? An animation that's just this brutal. This is like
Yeah.
crazy. And just being gone for so long, I think people are like, oh yeah, yeah, Invincible, Invincible, but oh well, what are you gonna do? It was COVID times and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Animation. But I know I just saw that they just released the first like spin-off comic with Battle Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Just came out a little bit ago and was getting good reviews and sold really well. So they're definitely planning on expanding, even just in the comic book space, because as far as I'm aware, they just did Invincible. So that story's through. And now with the popularity of the show, they're going to start dipping into some of these other characters and what else can they monetize, basically.
And I heard rumors about a video game for a while, and who knows what else. So yeah, I mean, not as not as big as it could be if like what I said happened, but
Yeah.
it's still big enough where it's like, it's a successful show. I think they're gonna keep making it. Couple last things on this for me anyway. What did you guys think about? Did you appreciate? We said it was Jeffrey Dean Morgan who did Conquest, and obviously, um, the voice of Mark is what's his
Glenn?
name? Yeah, well, I can't think of what his real name is. Steven Yeun.
Yeah.
Just, and this is a Robert Kirkman thing, and Walking Dead, the Robert Kirkman thing. You know, he did this on purpose.
Yep.
That was great.
Awesome. That was awesome.
Like he finally got like his come up revenge for that. Like it had to cross over into another show for him to get his hit lick back on Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
That's awesome. I never made that connection
Yeah.
until you watched it live. You watched it on my face when I realized it. That was genuine reaction of realizing that.
There was like even an interview with Jeffrey Dean Morgan where they asked him about doing Invincible, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it sounded fun when I read the script," and he was like, "And I wanted Steven to get his chance back at me."
That's cool. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. And then the other thing, just the Invincible War and the Conquest episode were just both 1-1. Doesn't that seem like in the comics that would have probably been like months or a couple months of comic books? And like, so that's the one thing is like they felt very like boom, Invincible War, one episode, which that could have been stretched into 2 or 3, or like the Conquest stuff, maybe two episodes, but it was all just like very, whoa, they're giving us a ton here at the end.
And back to back. It felt like a lot. I wasn't 100% aware of how much time passed between the two, but it felt almost immediate. Like I felt like they were still all injured from the Invincible battle to now Conquest is showing up. I'm like, they're not ready. And I mean, I understand stuff like that happens, but still it was like, come on, guys, this is a lot really fast. I can agree with that.
And like Conquest, we've never met you before. You're all of a sudden introduced at the end of the season, and now you're the big bad of the show. You're the big fight at the end. Like, I don't know you enough to hate you. I know you're strong as fuck and you're fucking shit up, but that's all I know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Not a gripe, just a observation.
I can agree with that. But yeah, great season. I'll be back for season 4, ready for more. So as long as they're going to keep getting it, I'll figure, I guess I have to keep Amazon.
Just
You're keeping Amazon for your Prime. You need those Prime deliveries straight to your house in 2 days. You can't give that up.
He's not wrong.
Be surprised what I can give up. About to give up Fubo because they made me mad.
If any of my friends,
Fubo is going away.
If any of my friends I know who can live off the grid, I think Chris is the one. Like if I had to pick one person who's like, oh, he's off the grid, that's you.
You've got enough CDs and DVDs
to survive anything. To survive anything. Yeah, I wouldn't know what was going on in this world if Don didn't send me tweets that he saw. Hey, you might want to check this out. This trade happened.
Like if we all of a sudden went to war as a country, I'd have to text Chris and be like, hey, dude, we're at war. I didn't see it. I don't have anything.
Yeah. It's true.
Are you completely off all the stuff?
Mostly, I mean, Instagram. I still can scroll through Instagram, but it's mostly like wrestling or superheroes. Like I don't get anything on like no news on Instagram.
Well, if it's something newsworthy, it'll probably show up.
It's like some random meme.
We gotta tell our friend Chris if we're ever under attack. He ain't gonna know.
Chris, the revolution's begun.
So, what'd you guys think about Invincible? You ready for season 4, ready, liked it, hated it, whatever. You know how to let us know. Hit us over at Raised A Geek on all of our social media networks, or you can shoot us an email at raisedageek@gmail.com. You can also head on over to Spotify and rate and review this show. You can leave comments under this episode. So definitely let us know. Plenty of places to let us know what you thought about the show and join the conversation. I think we started talking about the end of the world, so I think, in the revolution. So I think that's going to do it for us this week. So for Raised A Geek, I'm Chris.
And I'm Don.
And I'm Tony.
And thanks for checking out the show.
Where geek is all we speak. Shoo-buddy doo bop, shoo-buddy doo bop, shoo-buddy doo bop, shoo-buddy doo bop, shoo-buddy doo 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 doo.